With the deepest maritime port on the East Coast and nearly $3 billion in agriculture and forestry exports, Virginia's farm economy is closely tied to international trade markets. Agriculture is the #1 private industry in Virginia, with a $70 billion economic impact each year, according to the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Commissioner of Agriculture Dr. Jewel BRONAUGH says her agency's international marketing division is dedicated to keeping those sales flowing.
We have trade offices in 7 countries where we have representatives that are there to help kind of make those connections and those relationships, develop those relationships within those countries. We continue to want to make sure that not only do we increase the number of countries who export our products and we develop those relationships, but we want to do more to sell those products so that our Virginia farmers can be successful and profitable.
Despite reduced exports due to disputes with China and other countries, foreign markets remain profitable for Virginia farmers. Poultry products are the top agricultural export commodity from Virginia. Individual growers like Greg Miller in Rockingham County aren't directly affected by the ups and downs of international trade policy because their birds are owned by corporations such as Purdue, Tyson's, and Pilgrim's Pride. Growers are paid by the poultry processing companies. But export sales are influenced by trade policy, and that eventually has an impact on Miller's bottom line.
Everything is about supply and demand, and companies can only lose so much money until they'll either start cutting farms or cutting bird placements, and then at that point, obviously, it could be it could really affect us all.
Miller raises birds for Cargill Incorporated. The Virginia Poultry Growers Cooperative processes poultry for distribution companies. John King runs the cooperative and says gaining access to foreign markets is extremely important.
The fact of the matter is that there's a certain type of product that the consumer in the United States, they won't eat as much. So there's parts of the bird that can go into the export market, and it performs better over there, it meets their needs. Sometimes that's a function of cost. It's a cheap form of protein or something like that, or sometimes it's just a preference for a different cut.
Last year, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam introduced an international strategic plan for the Commonwealth that would increase exports by 50% over the next 15 years. Trade disputes with China have had impacts on Virginia producers, especially in the soybean and pork industries. BRONAUGH says farmers welcome the $24 billion the Trump administration has provided for farmers affected by the trade disputes. Those funds accounted for approximately 1/3 of net farm income last year.
Farmers appreciate that, but what they appreciate more is the opportunity for a free market so that they can sell their products.
Virginia is the second largest state on the East Coast for farm exports, with total sales of almost $3 billion in 2018. The top destinations that year for Virginia farm goods were China, Canada, and Switzerland. Some Virginia farmers have sold their products directly to buyers in foreign countries, like soybeans to Japan and apples to Cuba. All these sales go a long way toward keeping Virginia's farm economy stable and prosperous. In Richmond, Virginia, I'm Burke MOELLER reporting.